on Monday. Baltimore City Council members endorsed a clean job and energy plan they say will help transform and uplift Baltimore and save the planet from climate change. Under the proposal, at least 50% of Maryland's energy will come from renewable sources like wind and solar by 2030.
I hope tonight with our votes to roundly support the efforts underway, which are going to dramatically increase the renewable energy goals in Maryland and combine that with job training and targeting to hire the forgotten people of our state to be the workers in this new clean energy industry.
It's ambitious, it's achievable, it is necessary, and is an important, measurable goal that will get us ultimately in the state of Maryland to where we need to be, which is 100% clean energy. We need to get there faster, we need to get there sooner, and we need to get there so that we can protect the lives, the health of all of our citizens.
I asked why the renewable energy goals are less ambitious than what many are calling for. So this year, Delegate Shane Robinson is introducing legislation that would call for 100% renewables by 2035, and the U.S. Conference of Mayors adopted a resolution unanimously that calls for 100% renewables by 2035. So some people are asking why the City Council is supporting this measure, which is less ambitious, calling for 50%. In the face of the urgency of reacting to climate change, 50% versus 100% is a very different goal.
Well, you're right. A couple things. First of all, I know Vinnie DeMarco and the way he runs campaigns. I think we'll get our 50% as long as we support him. I think that's an achievable goal in this General Assembly to get. Of course, we would like 100% renewable energy, and that's great, and support that.
The less ambitious plan was introduced by a coalition of faith and community leaders last week.
And I'm an example of renewable energy saving lives and creating a job, because the job that it created for me helped save my life, as well as provide a good life for my family and those that I care about. I'm very happy to see that this effort is being initiated and actually being pushed to the extent that it is, because I have friends in my surroundings here in Baltimore that are very interested in the solar industry. However, there's not enough jobs here in Baltimore or in Baltimore that's accessible to them.
Climate scientists say it may already be too late to fully mitigate the impacts of climate change, with the Trump administration indicating it will likely pull out of the Paris Climate Accords and greatly expand fossil fuel extraction in the United States. An increasing number of states are calling for more renewable energy. In August, progressive elected officials announced an introduction of a bill that did seek 100% renewable energy in the state by 2035.
Us alone as a state in Maryland getting to 100% renewable energy is not going to get us out of this crisis. Climate change will still happen. We're only 6 million people, a drop in the bucket in a country of over 300 million and a world with over 7 billion people. So what we do within these borders isn't going to create a big change on its own, but what it'll do is create a model for other states to be able to follow.
I asked the coalition why their proposal sets a less ambitious target than that of Delegate Shane Robinson.
So we, as I said, the Maryland Climate Coalition supports a 100% renewable future. We're working with the delegate to discuss the pathway to get there. So right now we think 50% is a really solid, effective step on that path. So we are just have different approaches right now, but we all have the same goal, and we're all working together to bring renewable energy to Maryland.
I got a response from Rihanna Eckel of Food and Water Watch.
Well, first off, I want to thank Councilwoman Clark for her leadership and for taking on climate change. It really is one of the most urgent issues that we are facing right now. But our response, Food and Water Watch's response, is that what's politically feasible is what needs to happen. And we need to get off fossil fuels, we need to get onto renewable energy, and we know that we need to do that by 2035, have a 100% clean energy economy, be off fossil fuels in every sense of the term, in order to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. So when we talk about what's politically feasible, I don't think that that is really valid when we're talking about literally the sake of our lives. So the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has said that in order to avoid catastrophic runaway climate change, we need to stay below 1.5 degrees Celsius warming from pre-industrial levels. And right now we're at about 1 degree Celsius above pre-industrial levels, which means we only have 0.5 degrees until we hit these ecological tipping points where then we're dealing with runaway climate change and we're dealing with positive feedback loops that can't be stopped. So talking about the oceans warming so much that the currents actually stop, the glaciers melting completely until they're gone, talking about increasingly catastrophic storms that are going to completely devastate our communities. So it's incredibly urgent that we get stay below 1.5 degrees warming, and there's science to show that in order to stay below that threshold, we need to have 100% clean energy at the absolute latest by 2035. So anything sooner is definitely preferable, but that's kind of that last point where we can still salvage our planet and stay within safe levels and make sure that things like Harvey and Irma aren't continuing to happen and continuing to devastate communities in an even more horrific way.
For continued coverage of these efforts, keep your eyes on therealnews.com. This is Jess Lenore.